Are you content with trying to create 3 new drills every week because you think up new offenses and you got to make 3 new drills because you got to try to put it in? Are you willing to sacrifice the only 3% of your player's week that they have to spend playing with their teammates by doing endless drills? Do your players kick off practice by saying, "Coach, can we do stick time? Can we do more line drills? Can we do more partner passing?" No? Yeah, me neither. So I've helped thousands of lacrosse players, coaches, and parents become more affiliated with the sport so they can enjoy it more. I'm going to share simple steps to build real connection and fuel your team's success. Imagine that practice is the best part of your player's week. They come, they're invested, everyone's excited, everyone is connecting with each other. You know, hey, on that thing, I got to make sure that I get down the alley a bit more so that you can push the backside real quickly because we're connecting, right? Chapter 1, the overwhelmed coach. So what's overwhelming, coach? Just throw out three things. Anyone? What's overwhelming? Practice planning. What else? Skill levels. Attitudes. That's a good one. Love that one. And then so do you just click? So how does lacrosse work? I never played. For some coaches. Juggling responsibilities. I got to practice plan. I got to work on the, apparel. Finding strategies. Age-appropriate drills. Multiple skill levels. Fundamentals. Full-time job. Judgment from parents. Dissatisfied players. Tons and tons and tons of things, right? There's all these things all going through our head. As we are looking to do all of these things, there's going to be some themes through this. So for players, if we focus on fundamentals, the experienced kids are like, "Coach, I do this at home already. Like, I'm bored." But if you focus on strategies, the new kids are like, "What? What?" Like, and then, so the hard part is this. They're already like, you know, like they're like thinking about the ball. And so if they're thinking about the ball, they're not thinking about where to go. And so now they're just way, way slower, right? So the new players can't do it. So now for parents, what do they want? One thing, they don't care about you at all, just so we're clear, because they care about their kid. They want to see their kid in an environment where they can improve, somewhere where they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. So you want to impress parents? Invest in their kids. And that's what you're all doing. And as someone who creates content that allows coaches to enjoy it more, you are why I do what you do, because you are the ones who give them those great experiences. Like lacrosse to me, everyone says family all the time, but like I found it in my family. And it created my ability to do all of this as I learned how to do all of this and all the videos through lacrosse, or how to make myself do it. So coaches, we want to create an amazing environment where players can fall in love with lacrosse and build life skills along the way. But what do we actually need to do? We've got to build our foundation of lacrosse. How does it work? Then we got to assess our situation. Who are we coaching? Do I have a teammate? Do I have an assistant coach? What field are we on? Do we have real goals? Are we using trash cans? There are so many different ways to think about it, but they're going to limit what you're going to do. So we got to know where we are, how we're doing it. Next, who are we coaching? The age-appropriate expectations. How are we going to run practice? What are the things we want to implement? Fundamentals, are we going to drill them? How are we going to build them? Phases, flows of the game. So this is one of my biggest things. So lacrosse is unlike any other sport because you're just in it. One moment I'm like, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, good weekend? Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, I like your blue, I'm red, yeah. And then you're in a fast break and you're going and you're just in it. How like life? You're just in it. And now you got to think, you got to be able to do it. But if you don't know how the things connect, you're never going to have the ability to read the situation quickly and efficiently to be able to adapt, right? And so that's what we're doing as we're lacrosse coaches. We're putting them in those situations. So what strategies are we going to use? How are we going to build practice plans to make sure that we're building all of it together? How to run game day? Who's ever seen the Minnesota Loons play? So the Minnesota Loons, they got these gold helmets, these bright red uniforms. They look so sick. But in club, they run a 10-man, right? And so our club players who've never played together are then just getting trounced by this club team where they're all in sync and the pole's upfield defending our goalie. And our kids are just like, "Man, what do I do?" Right? But so as we played it, we were like, "I'm doing this." So we teach it, we put it in, and then literally the next game, we're running it. Dude, Jimmy, how'd you get on defense? "Coach, I'm supposed to press." No, you got to get off. You're an O mid, not a D mid. Oh, if I run a 10-man, I can't sub to get my D mids on unless he's box side. Because if I can't apply the pressure to make him throw adjacent or to throw to the side, I can't then put it in and set it up. So we gave up a bunch of goals trying to run this 10-man because we couldn't get, essentially, as they cleared it, we then had O-mids on defense. And that's just one of the connections that if you don't know, you're not going to be able to be as efficient as you could be in terms of how you're going to help your players understand the game and then play well within it. Coaching an entire team without a solid framework is like trying to build a car without understanding mechanics. You might know part or two, but expecting them to fit together perfectly without a plan is like an absurdity. So if you're a coach or you know a coach who's brand new, they have to build their framework. So like me walking into a shed with a bunch of car parts and they make a car. You could make a car out of it. Who's the car guy? Awesome. So then I won't be like totally ridiculous when I say this. But I'm like, all right, I got a carburetor, I got an engine, I got a chassis, okay, cool. Where do they fit? How do they go together? If I don't know how they go together, how am I going to train them? How am I going to communicate to a player how to do that? We got to keep it simple. Bare bones simple. So when I was coaching at Grandview, my first coaching job, I got this new set of teams. I didn't have much time. 21-12 offense, who's seen it? As we did that, we made it so simple and the guys took off. That class got us our first playoff win in 12 years after I took over in the second year, I believe. So we made the playoffs, lost, made the playoffs, won a playoff game. And the next year, I started getting fancy. I wanted to run a 4-man weaving set with, when this side's picking down, you're coming over the top. That side's setting a pick inside with this guy coming over, and then he's mumboing out to get to here. And I tried that for a month, and they got it pretty good. And then I went to another one and another one. And then in that season, we were just slower. They were just slower because it wasn't defined clearly and easily. And so if we don't keep it simple, they can't play as fast as they could. Simplicity breeds decision-making, and that's the key. Everyone has in their head these schemes they want to do, but then when they get into it, if I have to see who's coming out of the box, because we got a, Mikey, run him over play because we got a big midi, but it goes against all the other things, I'm slower because I got to know if that last midi on is Mikey coming to run someone over. But so if we don't have set ways to play that are efficient through everything, we make our players slower and connect less. So why do we keep it simple? The new players can do it. The experienced players are unleashed within it. The same offense I ran with the 6th grade team in my last year at CT, I ran with a varsity team, and they lit it up. It was amazing. Same thing as a 6th grade team ran, but the simplicity allowed them to use their skills. So who knows who Eric Law is? Oh, you're kidding. Gosh, I live in a bubble of bubbles. So Eric Law is a player for Denver. He helped them win the national championship. And he played for the Outlaws. He's played for a bunch of teams. He's like the aged out old one for the Atlas when they got Teat and then they just got someone new in. And so I got to watch him speak at the USA Lacrosse Regional Convention in Denver just a little while back. And he's teaching off ball. And so here's Eric. And so what's really cool is that when I was in high school, my senior year, I played in the All-Star game. Eric was a freshman and he had 5 goals. Like, kid was insane. But so what Eric does is he's the ex-attackman, but he's sneaky. He's that off-ball little brother who will like tap you and then run. And he's got amazing stick skills where he'll sit on that back pipe, but then he'll blast out to catch it and then he'll dodge, but then he'll feed. And one of the things that he mentioned as he's talking about off-ball play, 'cause he's a really good off-ball player, is that responsibility anchors everything he does. So if it's simplicity we have to have, you create the freedom to make those other decisions within the other elements of the game. And there's a specific way we'll go through it and how we're going to connect with those players to make those happen. So the attackman problem. Let's say we're trying to train an attackman and midfielder catches the ball in the clear. They're running upfield and LSM comes on. And this middy's a D mid, so he doesn't have good stick skills. LSM's hounding him. And you're like, Billy, pop out, get the ball, pop out. Billy, you're his help, man. You're his help. Come on, dude, pop out. He needs your help. Okay, well, the next play in LSM carries over uncovered. What does Billy do? Pops to the sideline. Billy, no, man. You're the lefty attackman. You got to pinch that pipe and stay in so that when he slides, now you're here. Like we could have had a goal. You could have had a goal and now you don't. How's Billy feel? Pick one, coach. Pick one, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do here? But so we have to build a frame of reference, and we do that with this question. What did you see? What did you see that play, Billy? Oh, Mikey was, he came across. He was defended by the long stick. He was kind of in trouble. Okay, so can you help him? Yeah, I can help him. How are you going to do that? I'm going to V-cut. I'm going to pop out. I'm going to stick to the sideline. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to turn and roll away. And then I'm going to pass to the guy at X. Awesome. Hey, Billy, what'd you see? Dude, Jimmy got the ball. He picked it up this time. And he's running full speed at me. And so I did what you said, coach. I popped to the sideline. It's like, well, was he defended? Did he need your help? Oh, no, I guess not. So what could you do? Well, who do you think is going to play Jimmy? Someone's got to play him, right? Like, yeah. Well, who do you think that's going to be? Well, what are you going to do if it's your guy that leaves you to play Jimmy? I'm going to be by the goal so I can catch it and I can finish. Awesome. Now we're working. So the what did you see builds the frame of reference with the player instead of giving those little commands. We want to get to this question as soon as we possibly can. Now, what did we mention earlier? We're already overwhelmed. We're going to build kind of how you can get to this more often with the rest of it, but the idea is, what is the frame of reference with which you are making a decision? That's how we get to the decision making within the simple strategies. So now, meeting each other where they are. And you guys got a goal ritual? Goal is scored, ritual, have to do it, players have to do it. No? Have you seen a goal ritual? What's the ritual? So what if they score a goal? We get together, perfect, that's the same ritual. Now, if we're gonna do that, what happens often? Totally, someone's blaming someone. Man, come on, you can't get beat that clean, man, come on. Oh, Billy, you gotta make sure you slide. We got 2 rules. First rule, you only have 2 concerns within how you communicate with each other after a goal is scored. The first, was it a lack of understanding? Did we not understand what we needed to do? Number 2, was it a lack of execution? Was the kid just too fast, right? So like, you guys know Bubba Fairman? He played for Maryland, unbelievable athlete. He was a Utah product. We went out when I was at Grandview to play him in Utah. We put our best LSM, our 3 very athletic attackmen on him in the clear, and he ran it out like it was nothing. There was nothing we could do to stop this kid. Incredible athlete. But so at some point, it is a lack of execution we can't understand, but in that, we have to get to the second rule, which is all statements must begin with I. And so first you get the kid who got beat. I shouldn't have got beat that clean. Maybe next time I'll line up more straight. This kid's got a good left. I'm gonna play him straight up so that I can just try to be better one way, because if he's too fast, he's going down the alley, we're drawing a slide, we're hitting the backside, can't do it, right? But so then, what you end up getting is, hey Chris, I gotta let you know that I have your 2 so that you can slide. Goalie, yeah, Billy, I gotta let you know that him back there, he's not doing nothing. Like, I can just tell you, and then you can be the 2 to let him go. But so, as they begin to communicate, what you see is, because they have to frame it with I, it's not a, oh, what'd you do? It's a, I have the ability to impact your awareness. And I like to think of it in 3s, okay? So why do we say, I'm in? Or, Dave, I got you 2, I got you 2, I got you 2. So Dave, awareness, I got you 2. Someone's talking to me, I got you 2. What does that mean? And then what do I have to do because of it? So you repeat them in 3s. And so as you then get into the game and you get into where the goal is scored, we stop the blaming, and then everyone builds their ability to be accountable, because now I can only say I statements. And so if you want to make that happen, you got to get rid of the lacrosse coaching bottleneck. And everyone's bottlenecked at some point. And I don't know how you guys are in your communities, but for the majority of you, I figure that you're the lacrosse mind on your team, in your community, with your club. You're the guy. Everyone's coming to you for answers. So how do we liberate the bottleneck? For skill development, when is a player most motivated to improve? When they love the game. I love that answer. That's awesome. When's another time? When do they love the game? After success, perfect. Yeah, building that flywheel. So, but if they bench them, now that thing they loved is now gone. So now they're deprived. And what do they realize? I got to get better. He's benched. He comes up to you and he asks you, you benched a kid. You said, hey, you got to come out. We're putting Sam in instead of you. How do I get back on the field? What do I need to do? And you say, pick any kid you got. Be specific, Dave. I want to know exactly who it is. Okay, so you have to do a specific thing. Now, was it a lack of understanding or a lack of execution? I say it was a skill deficiency where he just dropped it. How does he work on that? So you tell him, you know, you've got to position yourself. You got to watch your guy go. You got to step into the space that he left you. You got to catch it. You got to turn. You got to fake. You got to finish, right? And you got to know how to do that. But then when he gets to the field at his house, he gets there and he remembers everything and is like, this is what coach told me to do. And he goes through it and he puts himself in the motions. Does he do that? Probably not, especially for like our youth players too. And so this is the Online Skills Academy. My wife wanted a basement and my filming area was a single wall built in my unfinished basement. And so when we redid it, I lost my place to film. And so I thought to myself, what could I build? And so I've always wanted to do a drill bank. So I built 180 20 to 60 second drill videos that are the drills that I use in private lesson progressions. And then I took them all and I put them into 12 workouts per position, made a 5, 10, and 15 drill workout of each progression. And then I handed it to a guy in Philly. And he's a director. He gives it to a fifth grader. Fifth grader starts doing the drills. And he goes, you know, Patrick, I wish it popped up and said, good job after he finished each one. And I'm like, So I spent the next 3 months gamifying it. So when they finish the workout, it tracks their progress. They can rise in the ranks. They can have a team leaderboard. They can get badges and earn them. So like, let's say you want your kids to know everything for their position. The 12 workouts are built that way so you can do 3 workouts per week, and in 4 weeks, you hit everything for your position. So attack, what do you want them to do? Learn how to do. Perfect, awesome, dodging, island dodging, right? Cool. What about fast breaks? What about shooting on the run, in tight, faking, defense, approaching, ground balls, the ability to wide turn away with their offhand? All of it's in there. And as they do it, they track it, they can see it on the little profile thing. And then there's a leaderboard where you can see how you progress with other people around the country. So that's the skill bottleneck and the way that can help you to liberate that for some of the players. Now we have the lacrosse IQ bottleneck. Okay, perfect. So you got to learn the offense better. And so the big thing with this is that kids learn different. Everyone has to practice. Everyone has to do it on the field. But some players learn better with a video. And so, as many of you know, I have hundreds of free videos to watch online about every topic, whether it's skill development, offenses, defenses, rides, clears, and you can send them to your players all you want. And I've had coaches come and tell me, they're like, oh, I love this video, it was awesome. I'm like, cool, did you send it to your guys? Yeah, we totally did. What were they doing when you asked them if they watched it the next day? So you come to practice, you're all excited. Hey, did you watch the video? And they didn't watch the video. And you're like, oh man, this is what we're doing. Why didn't you watch it? So then you've got kids who learn better with written playbooks. They got to see it drawn out. They got to see how it all works together. Some like to see it digitally. So we work with a company called Lacrosse Lab, and they make digital plays. So they see it on the video. They see it in the playbook. Now they can see a digital representation on their phones, and they can bring it out right before practice so they know exactly what it is. But we had this kid. Oh, this kid could shoot the lights out. It's the only kid I've ever had a coach come up to me and be like, why didn't you give him the ball more? In our cue set, if there's a sweep, we'll always like fade to give him room, because if I'm here strong-handed and I can just catch and finish, he couldn't get it. He didn't understand until he saw it digitally, right? And so as he's now realizing, okay, I'm top center, I got to fade to the backside, whether he goes whichever direction, simplicity, my job doesn't change regardless of which way he goes. But once he got that, he scored 3 goals against a rival in a game in that exact way. And you should have seen my buddy. He was furious. They hit it all week of not to slide adjacent off the fade. And he hit it like 3 times. It was incredible. But so the fact that he got to see it in that way is what helped him. The next one is the master classes. So basically, you have them test out of it together. So we put in this clear and we said, defense, go do this together. And the coolest thing happened as we like set them up in their little groups. Instead of saying things like, you know, D3's got a banana out to be in the corner. D2's got to go to the other side. We're subbing D1 off because we're going to get the other midi on so we can sub quicker or whatever. They started going, Billy, I need you to get to the box faster so I can sub into the offensive end to pull their long stick off of our clear. And then, hey, Sam, I'm going to be coming out of the box straight to your face against an attackman. So give me the ball. And so instead of talking about the X's and O's, now they're connecting with each other. And that's the key. Now we're liberating the bottleneck of the understanding of the framework so they can build their own cars. Because if it's all in our head, when do you practice? She says, Thursday nights. What'd you do all day? School. So you've been sitting there learning all day. Cool. Well, you're trying to explain this all on the field, and you got Tom and Billy in the background going, hey, how many times have you said this? Hey, attackman, when I'm talking to him, I need you to listen. And I need you to pick up on this too, because I know you're a 2, but if you want to be on the field, you got to do this. No way. No way. They're not getting it. And so if we can't give them the ability to learn outside, we're now the bottleneck. Because what do you want to do when you get to practice? She's a goalie, though, so it kind of doesn't count. You want to play, right? Picture your team, players who are engaged and excited because they understand what's going on. A coach is confident, in control, understands what they're building. And a community that's just growing stronger every day because everyone has exactly what they need. When I think about a lacrosse community, anyone know what Zelda is? Zelda, the video game? Okay, so in Zelda, what's the thing we're trying to work towards? What's it called? What are we trying to collect? The Triforce. Cool. It's 3 things that are given by God, and it's power, which the bad guy has, wisdom, which the princess has, and then courage, which the main guy who's beating it has. So there's 3 elements to the world that you want to have, right? Well, so in lacrosse, here's your Triforce of lacrosse. You need supportive parents, trained coaches, motivated players. That's your 3. If you can have those, you're great. What do the parents need? What are the parents in it? You can look at it as a tree too. The parents are the roots of the tree. The coaches are the trunk and the branches, and the players are the fruit. Well, the parents want to know that when they supply the nutrients to the tree, that it gets to the fruit. So with the Online Skills Academy, we give them the ability to invest in their kids so that the kid can get better. So that when they get to you, you can give them the ability to play and enjoy practice because they know what's going on. They can do those things. So what do we got to do? First step, the lacrosse coaching self-assessment. This is going to ask you a bunch of questions as far as what you want to learn about. And as I'm talking to a bunch of coaches now, they're like, nah, yeah, I just went through it and like whatever. Don't do that. Answer the questions right. Because if you answer them right, it's going to give you different feedback. So if you say, I really want to learn 2-man, I'm really good at it, I'm going to give you the Penn State offense. If you say, I'm new at it, I'm going to give you the types of 2-man video. And if you say you're kind of in the middle, I'm going to give you the how to build it through the references of on-ball, off-ball players. You're going to have that for offense, defense, fundamentals, man up, man down, box lacrosse, all the things. It's funny, I had a conversation with a guy. I never thought this would happen. But I'm like, hey man, how's it going? How's your thing going? He's like, I can't do the accent, but thick New York accent. Oh, it's really good. That's terrible. I'm like, what'd you think of the assessment? He's like, it was okay, whatever. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what'd you think of the output, what it gave you? He's like, no. I got a 78. I'm like, yeah? That's really good, man. That's awesome. He's like, no, you put in box lacrosse. That's not real lacrosse. You put in box. I'm a field coach. Why am I being judged on a thing I don't even do? So he wanted the number, right? He was doing it as a point of like personal pride and almost ego of like, I wanted 100. You know what I mean? But since he didn't know box, I do appreciate that he filled it out correctly though, but apparently he just wanted it where the box score didn't add up to the total score. When you do that, once you assess yourself, where you're at, what you're doing, you got to find the tools that work for you. What are you comfortable wanting to use? Free drills and videos. Like, go use them, send them to your players. How do we put this all into practice, right? I've built all this stuff out and you can use it with your teams, but how do we make it accessible? So for a limited time, we're offering 50 cents per dollar spent for teams and clubs that join the Online Skills Academy. So if you put it into your registration as an optional program, Every dollar a parent spends gives you 50 cents towards coaches training, a complete strategy masterclass, any of the other stuff up to 500 bucks. So parents, like we just talked about, they support their player directly. And so for the price of a part of an hour lesson, they get a complete program of everything they're gonna need to work on that they can work on their own with technical focused drills. This is the way, as I talk to coaches and they wanna do the coaches training, they're like $250. Like, man, I'm already volunteering. I'm already doing more than everybody else. This is a way to not only give your parents the tools they need to allow their player to activate the investment. They just spent 500 bucks on gear, registration, all this stuff. Allows the player to actually understand what to do, how to do it, and be able to get better on their own so that they can go to practice and give to the team. They can be useful to the team. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And so just another kind of funny story. We're working with, this is rolling out to 8 programs right now around the country. We got 3-4 squads, 1-2 squads. We got 7-8 squads, high school squads. And I'm talking to a 3-4 coach, and he's a direct guy. You built it for you. What am I supposed to do with these kids? Like, I need them to go home and I need them to do cradle circles. They got to activate their fingers, right? So I went in, I built 10 new programs for brand new players. Solid start workouts where we're learning how to control the stick, how to go from here to here, right? So one of the ones I really love now that I've been teaching all is like all the ground ball drills. You guys know minnows? Set them all up in a line, give them a ball, drop the ball. Okay, well, if you ever do ground balls, I do 22, 2 hands on the stick, 2 butts low, face over ball, scoop, face, never ends here, always up to pass. Because 1-2s, that's what they got to do. All they got to do is here. And then it's 3-second rule. Up to pass, you can hold it for 3 seconds. And when they pick it up the first time, what do? Right? Because they know they're going to lose it. But so we had a group of, I think it was 8-year-olds in a box session. We had 1 practice per week for 6 weeks. By the end of it, they were making 3 passes up the field. It was incredible, all because of 1 rule. We played for 20 minutes at the end of every practice, the real game, and there was always a 3-second rule. But we're talking like, you know, they already have a 1 pass rule. I don't care about no rule. I'm not going to let you gamify it. They scoop through it. It's on their collarbone. They're looking. They're overwhelmed. They freak out. They drop it. But at the end, they were doing it. And that's the thing is, had I been like, me, you, ready? Pass. No way. Because it took the kid going, you want to hit it out of my stick? You know? 3 times to realize, oh, that's where the face goes. Boom, face, up to pass, right? And so all the like technical components that I teach, you can find online. One of the cool things with any of the annual programs, you guys know what School is, S-K-O-O-L? It's a community platform. So anyone who's an annual subscriber gets to come in. So you can talk to other coaches who are 1st, 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th grade, 5th, 6th, whatever you are, and talk to them about practice planning, about how the offense is going, about all of those things so that once you're done with the coaches training, you're not kind of on an island. Any questions about any of the stuff we talked? The question is, because they can't hear you, the question is, how do you know if it's lack of understanding or lack of motivation? It's not, it's lack of fun. It's lack of confidence. I didn't go get it because I didn't think I could. And so that's the reason why ground balls against no one don't count. Because I need to know if I can scoop through it and get to here or not. But so I got to be in that scrum to recognize that I got to be like ankle, elbow, box, boom, here and out 10 times before I'm like, oh, I got it. Like I'm the one that got it this time, right? But so nothing to do with motivation. It's all about the confidence of can I do it? But and that goes back to the whole thing. If I know I've done this 100 times this week and she hasn't, confidence is all about doing the thing enough times to where it becomes boring. My last little thing is this. You all came for a reason. Make sure that the attending of this convention changes your behavior in some way. You're all gonna have notes, you're gonna have descriptions, you're gonna be able to reference this video when you get home. I'm gonna put it online for free. Make sure that whatever you learn changes your actions, because if it doesn't, you didn't learn anything because your actions didn't change. Now, what's the big thing in lacrosse for the higher end now? Principles based, right? They want them to read and react. Well, as a coach, you have to read and react. You got to put them in the drills. You got to see what they're doing, and then you've got to react. And your reaction has to be not, hey, make sure you pop out. It's got to be, hey, man, what'd you see? So that builds the connection, and then they learn, I got to let you know that you're the hot guy and that I have your two so that you can slide on time. And that accountability will just fire through your teams. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it.